Once again, Qin Feier spat out a mouthful of blood as she got up from the ground. Her face was ghastly pale. Feier, she doesn't deserve your kindness. If you keep doing this, the people out there would condemn the Qin family. Although your father is as kind as you, he knows that one must not be kind to those who hurt you more than 3 times. This young lady has challenged the Qin family over and over again. Why should we tolerate her? When Yes' eyes were full of love mixed with fury. I did this because of Qin Feier clenched her fists tightly. Qin Feier had tolerated Feng Ruqing because of Qin Chen. However, Feng Ruqing had crossed the line over and over again. Although Qin Feier was kind, she would lose her temper sometimes, too. Naturally, she would not tolerate Feng Ruqing if she kept hurting Qin Feier. Are you mad at me? It turns out that you would lose your temper sometimes, too. When Luoli was bullied, you told her to hold back and render good for evil. Now that I have just made you fall twice, you are actually mad at me? Feng Ruqing smiled. This young lady wants to avenge Luoli? Qin Feier was startled. Take her down. When you snarled, a glimmer of vicious light flashed through her eyes. Hastily, a few people of the Qin family unsheathed their swords and moved toward Feng Ruqing. Feng Ruqing merely smiled. She was still calm and very much at ease. However, a hint of viciousness hidden behind her smile seemed like a soul-devouring sword that was capable of swallowing a human alive. Suddenly, a soft voice sounded like a gust of cold wind, brushing past everyone's faces. Although it was a soft voice, it sent a chill down everyone's spine. I've only been away from Tianshan Manor for slightly more than 10 years. It turns out that the Qin family has helmed Tianshan Manor. Hearing this, Wen Yes' body subconsciously stiffened. The voice was unfamiliar to the people present, but not to Wen Yu. Stunned, Feng Ruqing's gaze followed the voice. In the light of the setting sun, a lady in a white robe walked slowly toward her. The lady was so ethereal and graceful. Her eyes were calm and content. Only when the lady saw Feng Ruqing, the corner of her lips slightly lifted. The lady went up to Feng Ruqing slowly. Her fingers brushed Feng Ruqing's hair gently. You have actually come to this place on your own. Qinger, why you didn't leave us a message before leaving? The lady said softly. Me for extra chapters. I don't want both of you to come here. Feng Ruqing did not want Su Yi and Nan Xian to return to Tianshan Manor. Hence, she had come here alone. If we are not here now, we would never have known how much trouble you have gone through. Su Yi's calm gaze fell on Wen Yu as she smiled. Lady Qin, what do you want to do to my dear Qinger? Flying into a great panic, Wen Yu stared at the lattice elegant face. Color drained from her face. Mother. Seeing Wen Yes' face, a hint of shock crept into Qin Feier's eyes. Who is this lady? Why does mother fear her? Young Lady Mu, it's been years since we met. You are still young and pretty. I hardly recognize you. I did not know that this young lady is related to you. Feier, let's go home. Wen Yu held onto Qin Feier's hand tightly as she forced a smile. Young Lady Mu. Hearing Wen Yes' words, Qin Feier was stunned. There was only one young Lady Mu in Tianshan Manor, Nan Su Yi, who had left together with Nan Xian. The stunning lady was Nan Xian's mother? What was the relationship between Feng Ruqing and Nan Su Yi? Qin Feier panicked. What if Feng Ruqing was close to Nan Su Yi, and she spoke ill of Qin Feier to Nan Su Yi? Ultimately, Nan Xian might dislike Qin Feier because of this. What could Qin Feier do? However, Qin Feier knew that as long as Feng Ruqing was here, Qin Feier could never clear her name. Let's go. Wen Yu clenched her teeth. She waved her hand to signal the guards to leave. Does Qingyin know that Nan Su Yi is back? I must tell her now. Nan Su Yi must not return to the Mu family. Did I tell both of you to leave? Are you trying to leave after bullying Qinger? Nan Su Yi's eyes were calm. What do you want to do? Wen Yu paused and turned her head around to look at Nan Su Yi. Get that young lady to kowtow and apologize to Qinger. Su Yi glanced at Qin Feier with a faint smile on her face. Hearing this, Qin Feier's body stiffened like a statue. She turned to look at Nan Su Yi. Qin Feier would not give a hang if she heard the words from someone else. However, the words had come out of her future mother-in-law's mouth, Nan Su Yi. Qin Feier had irritated Nan Su Yi before marrying Nan Xian. Naturally, Sui would hate Qin Fei even more after she had stepped into the Mu family. Young Lady Mu, Fei was the one who got bullied just now. You are one of us. Why are you taking this young lad's side? When you clenched her fists tightly. No, I am just helping Qinger to deal with the swine. Young Lady Mu, it seems that you have lost your good upbringing after leaving here for more than 10 years. I fed my good upbringing to the swine that looks like the one before my eyes. You, mother, stop talking. Qin Fei tugged at Wen Ye's sleeve as she shook her head. Then, she turned to look at Suyi, calmly. Young Lady Mu, it is my fault indeed. I was such a fool to believe in the slanderous remark that young Lady Feng is hounding my brother. Moreover, young Lady Feng was dumped before. I was too worried about my brother. Let me apologize to her. Me for extra chapters. Qin Fei lowered her head earnestly. A shadow of guilt darkened her eyes. However, I would never kowtow to her. I am the daughter of the Qin family. I have my own dignity. I can apologize to her, but I will never kowtow to anyone. I hope you could understand my situation. Qin Fei's well-rounded words reflected her sincerity. Any ordinary person could hardly fault it. However, Suyi was no ordinary person. It seems that I am too old and worthless. I can't even protect Xiao Qinger. I would get Nanxian to settle all the scores when he is here, especially Qin Fei. She is so daring to mess with Qinger. Suyi held onto Feng Ruqing's hand gently with a faint smile on her face. What will young Master Nanxian think of me if he knows about this? Qin Fei's face was sickly and pale. Although Qin Fei did not do anything to Feng Ruqing, Nanxian was a filial son. Naturally, he would listen to his mother. Qin Fei's eyes started filling up with tears of humiliation, but she did not let the tears stream down her face. Seeing this, Wen Yu was growing increasingly resentful. Her eyes were fixed on Suyi and Feng Ruqing. All right, I will kowtow as young Lady Mu is an elder. The young one must always respect the elder. However, I will never kowtow to young Lady Feng. Qin Fei smiled pathetically. Qinger, is Qin Fei your bosom friend? Suyi looked sideways at Feng Ruqing.
No.
Feng Ruqing shook her head earnestly. Really? Nanxian is so cold. He would never get close to any lady out there. Why did Qin Fei say that I am an elder? Perhaps I have been staying in the mountain for too long. I don't understand what she said. Qin Fei had always been weak. Hearing Suyi's words, she had nearly lost her balance. Mother, let's go. Qin Fei took a deep breath. Qin Fei could kowtow to Suyi. However, she would never kowtow and apologize to Feng Ruqing. Suddenly, a glimmer of vicious light flashed in Nan Suyi's eyes. Just as Qin Fei was about to leave, Nan Suyi grabbed Qin Fei's hair. Nan Suyi gave her a kick and made her fall on her knees before Feng Ruqing. Qin Fei, do you think you could do as you wish just because the Mu family is backing you up? Do you think you can even step into the Mu family if you offend me? If you truly want to step into the Mu family, I would not stop you. However, you won't marry my son. Don't you dare bully Qinger and I. I don't care what others think or say about me. Neither does Feng Ruqing. Suyi's gaze was still calm and nonchalant, but her words were heart-piercing. In Luyun Kingdom, Feng Ruqing did take it all out on her enemies as Feng Tianyu was the emperor of Luyun Kingdom. He must win the people's hearts. Even so, Feng Ruqing did not let herself suffer any grievances. Now that Feng Ruqing was in Tianshan Manor, outside of her father's jurisdiction, things have taken a different meaning. Kneeling before Feng Ruqing, Qin Fei's pale face was covered with tears. She looked extremely pitiful. Although I cannot control the things in the Mu family, I have a say in my son's marriage. Anyone from the Qin family must never appear before Qinger anymore. Qin Fei slumped to the ground in despair. Me for extra chapters. Fei, panicking, when you rushed over to help Qin Fei got up. With a blank stare, Qin Fei watched Suyi and Feng Ruqing leave. Her face was emotionless. She did not regain her composure even when the gate was slammed shut. Mother, I can never marry Nanxian, can I? Fei, don't worry. What Suyi has said is total nonsense. She cannot control Nanxian's marriage. All you need to is keep Qingyan happy. Even if Nan Suyi returns to the Mu family, Qingyin is at the wheel. Only Mu Ling and Qingyin can control Nan Xian's marriage. When you rubbed Qin Feier's shoulder, her heart was broken. Suyi, who do you think you are? When you were the young lady of the Mu family back then, the old master had always backed you. Hence, everyone was afraid of you. Now that the old master is sick, he can no longer defend you. Currently, Mu Ling is the master of the Mu family. Nan Xian must marry the lady that Mu Ling has selected. How can a lady, Nan Suyi, control her son's marriage? Mother, I didn't do anything to Feng Ruqing. Why would young lady Mu take Feng Ruqing's side and treat me like this? What is their relationship? Why does young lady Mu treat Feng Ruqing so well? When you frowned slightly, after a while, she slowly relaxed. They'll ask your father to go and investigate that woman. Don't worry too much. She's merely Suyi's adopted daughter. She would never be her daughter-in-law. Really? Qin Feier seemed all hopeful now. Feier, I've been someone else's daughter-in-law before. A woman always labels her daughter-in-law as her enemy. I treated your grandmother nicely, but she was always dissatisfied with me. When you laughed coldly, if I had a son, I would hate the idea of a woman taking him away from me, too. So, it's normal that Suyi dislikes you. She likes that young girl, and it proves that she has no relation with Nan Xian. Qin Feier was still nervous. She pursed her lips tightly. She looked pale. Moreover, it doesn't signify anything even if that young girl is close with the manor master now. It just means that Gui never had any friend and now she adores that young girl because that young girl is willing to fawn on her. She's nothing when Gui dislikes her in the future. Do you think that Mu Ling would like a daughter-in-law like her? She's not even qualified to be a concubine. In fact, there were a lot of people who fawned on Gui because of her status and identity. But she had never had any friends because of her bad temper and her habit of hating every beautiful girl. Naturally, Gui liked Feng Ruqing because Feng Ruqing was the only one who did not leave her despite her bad temper. When Gui had more friends in the future, Feng Ruqing would surely become useless to her. She would cease being Feng Ruqing's friend, and the Mu family would never accept her. Qin Feier slowly sighed in relief. She was never worried about Nan Xian because she thought that Nan Xian was the kind of man who would fall for beauty only. He would reject any woman who was stained and unvirtuous. What worried her was the fact that Suyi adored Feng Ruqing. She was worried that Suyi would force Nan Xian to marry Feng Ruqing given that she was his mother. Nan Xian might not be able to reject his mother's request. Mother, let's go home. Qin Feier's facial expression worsened when she saw the sympathetic looks the crowd threw at her. She was clearly the one being bullied here. They sympathized with her. But all she felt was humiliation. Me for extra chapters. She had always been crowned a beauty in Tianshun Manor. Now, she was forced to kneel down and kowtow to somebody else for forgiveness. It was an unforgettable humiliation for her. In the living room of the Mu family, Hai Rong touched his mustache and smiled. Mu Ling, I've been here for quite some time now. I need to leave and think of another way to cure the old master's illness. Chapter 878. The Mu family came to visit too. Fortunately, Sui had not promised to come back with him. The old master's birthday was just around the corner. Hai Rong was going to leave after a few days. They would never meet each other. Grandmaster Hai Rong, my father's illness depends on you. I hope that it's not troublesome for you. Troublesome? Hai Rong laughed. I'm indebted to that young girl and am also Huaner's master. Treat the old master's illness is my responsibility. It is late now. I have some business with Qin Kuren. Will take my leave now. He smoothed his long sleeves when he finished talking. He got up from his seat. He stopped walking and turned around to ask Mu Ling something that he had suddenly thought of. By the way, I heard from the people of the Mu family that the old master dislikes Qingyan. Is that true? Mu Ling's facial expression changed. He was infuriated. Just who on earth gossiped about that in front of Grandmaster Hai Rong? Grandmaster Hai Rong, there's nothing like that. The old master has been not quite himself recently. He is unable to think properly given that he's ill. Qingyan is my mother's niece. Why would my father dislike her? Hai Rong was rather displeased with what Mu Ling said. who would claim that one's father was unable to think straight. But it did not concern him much because it was another family's problem. He did not give much comment on that. Fine. I'm just telling you what I heard. One thing you need to remember. Old Master Mu Ling could not be provoked. If he dislikes Qing Yin, just ask her not to appear in front of him. If he is provoked, his illness might worsen. Mu Ling felt awkward. Qing Yin had treated his mother nicely. If his father's illness grew serious because of Qing Yin, in fact, I don't want to put my nose into other people's affairs. But I heard some rumors in the Mu family. Qing Yin claimed that the young girl is her elder sister. So, I need to give you some advice. What a bastardly thing you have done. Mu Ling, I have always thought that you're a responsible man when I first met you. You would never do what you have done by abandoning your wife and choosing your concubine over your wife. Mu Ling's lips trembled. Grandmaster Hairong, it's impossible that I will do that. I am always hoping that my wife would come back. It's her who is unwilling to. Me for extra chapters. Grandmaster Hairong shook his head helplessly. He would never have gotten involved in the Mu family's affairs if Qing Yang was not that young girl's sister. He had said that for that young girl's reputation. However, Hairong could not help but frown again when he remembered what he had heard at the Mu family. Qing Yin is your cousin. Her elder sister is your cousin too, isn't it? But why have I never heard of her? Mu Ling was rather anxious now. He remained calm. She's a distant relative. She came to us because something had happened to her family. But she's unwilling to trouble us, so she did not stay here. The people from the Mu family do not know about her. Initially, I had promised Qing Yin to take care of her, so I traveled the world with her. That was when we got to know you. Oh, Hairong learned of the bigger picture now. That's what has happened. I thought that she's Qinjian's younger sister. Since she's a distant relative and no one knows about her, it won't matter much. But you should be careful. Your wife will always be your wife. A concubine is just a concubine, and she could never be compared to your wife. Mu Ling lowered his head. I'll heed your advice and be more careful in the future. I'll not say much. Mu Ling, the old master, is my patient now. I don't want anybody to provoke him and influence his health. If this condition continues, I'll never treat his illness again. Go and pass along my order. Ask Tan Shuangshuang to kneel down in the ancestral hall. I need to go out for some business. Mu Ling recovered his senses and smoothed his long sleeves. Then, he walked out of the living room in big strides. At the pavilion in the garden, Feng Ruqing held Suyi's hand and sat down, slowly. Little Qing Han's big and bright eyes blinked. She curled up into a fetal position and rested on Feng Ruqing's legs. Qinger, it's been a while since we last met. Why do I feel that you're slimmer now? Suyi held Feng Ruqing's hands with much sadness. Did Nancian not take good care of you these days? You have come to Tianshan Manor on your own. You have not even brought along some maids to take care of you. Even if you don't bring them along, you could bring along some spirit beasts given that there is a whole load of them in your manor. Feng Ruqing was bewildered. She wanted to tell Suyi that Nancian was not around. But Suyi was blaming Nancian again before Feng Ruqing could say anything. Where is Nancian? He told me that he's here. Where did he go? Feng Ruqing did not know how to respond to that. Suyi could locate her. Did Nancian tell her that? Did Nancian know that she was going to come to Tianshan Manor? Feng Ruqing's face darkened then. Oh, he might be fooling around with Qingzhu right now. Suyi frowned. I can tell that Qingzhu is not a nice snake. It has even kidnapped Nancian. Qinger, don't worry about it. They'll brew a snake soup when we meet them next time. It could be accompanied by phoenix soup. It can help to strengthen your body. Qingzhu could not help but sneeze even though it was far away from Tianshan Manor. It stretched its head. It seemed dazzled. Did somebody just speak evil about me? It must be that charming snake. Master, are you sure that the charming snake would not pursue me all the way here? Nancian scanned Qingzhu calmly. Qingzhu soon shut its mouth, and it did not say anything more. Soon, Nancian saw a young man standing on the surface of the water with a white phoenix. He appeared calm. Didn't a princess called Princess Water Snake like you before? If Qingzhu were a cat, Its fur would surely be standing on its end when it heard what Nanxian had just said. But Qingzhu was only a snake. It did not react like a cat. It just straightened its body and remained in a guarding position. Master, what do you want now? Qingzhu's voice was filled with a plea. It was a snake who has its own pride and dignity. It would never trade its body for some kind of business. It would never go and seduce another snake. Yes, you go and seduce it. Let their people refuse to help it to find its way. Qingzhu almost burst into tears. Master, although Princess Water Snake is charming, it's too ferocious. I'm scared. Nanxian became quiet again. Master, why don't you do it yourself? Why? Qingzhu's voice was trembling. You're able to do it yourself? Why do you want to sacrifice my dignity? I don't want to do that. Nanxian remained calm. We need someone to be blamed if Qing'er knows about this, me for extra chapters. The underlying message was that Qingzhu would be the scapegoat. If Feng Ruqing was angry with what they had done, he could blame it on Qingzhu. Qingzhu was shocked. It stared at Nanxian helplessly. It could not even bring itself to cry. He was unwilling to allow his rival in love to go and meet the princess. So, he pushed the pitiful snake forward to prevent that from happening. The princess will surely kill me and brew a snake soup out of me. It's real. Yes. Nanxian remained cold. Qing'er has always yearned for a snake soup. If that's the case, let her have the snake soup to strengthen her body. Qingzhu soon exploded with anger. Its master was no longer the master he knew since he had met the princess. He had no limit now. Master, I was just joking. Really? Qingzhu curled itself on Nanxian's arm like an obedient dog. You're the most respected master I have ever had. I'll go to seduce the princess if you ask me to. I'll do whatever you want even if you asked me to seduce a worm. Nanxian kept quiet, and it appeared that he had fallen into deep thought. The look in his eyes scared Qingzhu. Qingzhu could not help but tremble. It soon remembered that there was indeed a worm who wanted to seduce it before. It could not be helped. It was the most charming snake among the snakes. Every spirit beast wanted to seduce it. Actually, I was just joking. Nanxian replied calmly, noted. I'll remember what you said. Qingzhu cried sadly. Master, don't you remember things for less than 7 seconds only? I'm begging you now. Please forget what I have just said. Just assume that I did not say anything. Is that okay? Nanxian pulled Qingzhu away from his arm. Then, he threw it aside expressionlessly. Chapter 881. The Mu family came to visit V. His gaze fell onto the young man who was standing on the surface of the water. His eyes darkened, and there seemed to be an indescribable secret in his eyes. In the pavilion, little Qing Han raised her little head. She looked up at Suyi innocently. Grandma Suyi, how did father know that mother is here? Mother didn't want him to know, and that's why she didn't tell her. Suyi was stunned. Why would Nanxian know about her whereabouts when Feng Ruqing did not tell him herself? Qing Han, you don't have to ask anymore. I know now. Feng Ruqing closed her eyes slowly. She opened her eyes after a while. No wonder. No wonder she slept so soundly when she was at Fengyan Manor. But what Nanxian didn't know was that she was still aware of her surroundings even when in deep sleep. Feng Ruqing thought that she had felt that way because she missed Nanxian deeply. But it seemed not to be the truth after much consideration. Was the state preceptor following her? Suyi seemed baffled. She did not know what had happened. Qing'er, Suyi. Suddenly, a familiar voice interrupted Suyi. She became tense and cold. Her coldness was filled with a feeling of distancing herself from the rest of the world. Suyi, are you back? Really? It was evening now. There was only the sound of the night breeze in the manor. Mu Ling's gaze fell on Suyi. He seemed delighted and excited. Unknowingly, Suyi felt that his excitement was faked. It was disgusting. You are the young manor master of the Mu family. How could you intrude upon us without asking for our permission? Suyi laughed coldly. Then, she got up. Me for extra chapters. Feng Ruqing seemed calm. She got up slowly and held Suyi's cold hand. Feng Ruqing knew that Suyi would surely be troubled by the Mu family if she ever came back to Tianshan Manor. That was why she did not want Suyi to be a part of this. But still, the Mu family came in the end. Suyi, Why didn't you inform me about your return? Mu Ling frowned slightly. If you had told me, I would have ordered someone to go and fetch you. Suyi tilted her head and looked at Mu Ling calmly. Are you satisfied with the concubine I have sent you? If you're not, I don't mind sending you more concubines. Oh, that's right. I have forgotten about that. You're infertile now. Mu Ling's face darkened. He clenched his fists tightly. You're really the one who has done that, Suyi. You were not like that in the past. When did you become so cruel? Mu Ling went to meet Suyi because he wanted to talk with her calmly. But what Suyi had said hurt him. The excitement on his face disappeared completely. Suyi, don't forget that you're the young lady of the Mu family. Mu Ling was infuriated. What good does it bring you even if you did that? Suyi smiled calmly. Don't you want to continue pretending here? Mu Ling was outrageous. Suyi, why don't you learn from Qingyan? You have always claimed that Qingyan cannot be compared to you. But she has been managing the entire Mu family in an orderly manner. The entire household praises her. Did any of the elders or servants praise you when you were there before? They were filled with complaints. Suyi clenched her fists tightly. Her face paled. The old master had always been weak since the beginning. Therefore, he had given Suyi the right to manage the entire Mu family. Chapter 882. Nancian is here. Suyi had always treated the others strictly. She trained those people diligently for the sake of the Mu family. She wanted to strengthen the power of the Mu family. She started out as a strict superior so that the Mu family could always be on its guard. But Chun Qingyan did not have to tire herself out. She only needed to take some spirit herbs and give them to the people of the Mu family. They would surely obey her and praise her endlessly. But those spirit herbs belonged to the Mu family. The spirit herbs were arranged and shared accordingly. But it would surely ruin the Mu family in no time. Suyi had always placed the benefits of the Mu family before herself. But it seemed to be her fault now. She could cease to care for the Mu family and Mu Ling. But all her efforts, time, patience, and even endless exhaustion were useless. All she received, in the end, were sarcastic criticisms. It showed how pathetic she was. A strong wave of wind came swiftly toward him. Mu Ling recovered his senses and dodged the attack. The strong wind hit the towering tree next to him. The entire tree was uprooted and fell crashing to the ground. Mu Ling dodged quickly, but the dirt on the ground still stained his clothes. The strong wave was swept up. He could not help but cough. His face darkened as he stared at Feng Ruching coldly. A dark warrior? He did not guess wrongly. The young girl who stood in front of him was a dark warrior. Her strength would surely be outstanding even if she was among the people in Tianshan Manor. Unfortunately, there was a genius in Tianshan Manor, and he was Nancian. Mu Ling wanted to look for a suitable match for Nancian, who could match his status instead of another genius. Little girl. Mu Ling sneered and then smiled coldly. It's the Mu family's business. You're not one of us. You have no right to attack me on behalf of Suyi. Mu Ling would never forgive that young girl if it was not for the sake of Suyi, given that she attacked him first. Some people receive praises and admiration by giving out some small treats. Feng Ruching walked toward Mu Ling. She sounded serious. Qingyan doesn't know that what she has given out belonged to the Mu family. She did not have to contribute anything, and the others would completely obey her nonetheless. On the contrary, some people tired themselves out their whole lives for the Mu family, yet they are blamed instead. Moreover, some people could not even think properly. Their brains seem to have been soaked in the water, and they cannot distinguish the good from the bad. They're extremely stupid. What the young girl said sounded like a heavy hammer smashing against Mu Ling's heart. He was outraged. Young girl, don't assume that it'll allow you such privilege to criticize me just because Suyi is on your side. Feng Ruching laughed. Criticized you? Do you even have a brain? That's just a pile of shit. Its content is shit too. Me for extra chapters. How dare you? Mu Ling scolded loudly. Little girl, have you forgotten that I'm Nancian's father? If you want to be his woman, it's useless if you are nice to Suyi only. It's I who has the right to decide on his marriage. Suyi's eyes were cold. She wanted to say something to rebuke what Mu Ling said. However, Feng Ruqing gave her a warning glance. She seemed overbearing and stubborn. Sui, go and wait for me somewhere else. You don't know how to deal with this kind of shameless people. Sui was speechless. Unknowingly, the feeling of being protected by her daughter-in-law made Sui want to cry. It was a warm feeling. So, Sui obeyed her and did not say anything more. She went to stand further away, obediently. Then, Feng Ruqing turned around to look at Mu Ling. She smirked. Do you think that you're able to force Nanxian to listen to you? Mu Ling's facial expression darkened. Nanxian had never listened to his father. I'm his father. So what if he resists me? Parents always get to decide their children's marriage. He must not reject it. Oh. Feng Ruqing smiled a little. If he's willing to return to the Mu family, they'll bring along Suyi and leave. Suyi's eyes brightened. But she realized that it was not a good thing to do. So, she remained calm and neutral. That's enough. Mu Ling came that day for Suyi's sake and not Nanxian's. I have come to talk to Suyi. You just get lost. Feng Ruqing smiled. You're permitted to talk to Suyi if you bring Chen Qingyan here. Ask her to kneel down and kowtow to Suyi until Suyi is willing to forgive her. She should do that to admit her wrongdoings. If Suyi doesn't forgive her, she should kneel down in front of her for the rest of her life. Mu Ling clenched his fists tightly. He was furious. At first, Nanxian was not bothered about Qingyan and had taken Black Dragon away for Feng Ruqing. Now, that young girl was humiliating Qingyan in such a way. Qingyan had never annoyed anybody first in her entire life. But they simply would not let her go. Mu Ling's eyes were cold and distant. Qingyan is my woman. I need to be responsible for her whole life. She has sacrificed a lot for me. I must not wrong her. Qingyan could even give up her life for Mu Ling. What right did he have to harm that kind of woman? Suyi, I know that you're upset with Qingyan. He suppressed all of his anger when he faced Suyi. He tried to use a calm voice. But I'm indebted to Qingyan. I still owe her a life. I thought that you would understand my situation in the past. In fact, it's what I owe to her. Mu Ling had fallen in love with Qingyan when he was young. But they could not be together because of his father's opposition. Later, he met Suyi. He thought that he had met his true love. He could give Qingyan up for Suyi. He had even prioritized Suyi over everything else. He was always sincere and true to her. But Qingyan saved him without caring for her own life. She almost died saving him. He should have humanity given that he was a human. He could not ignore Qingyan's deep love for him. Me for extra chapters. Moreover, it was normal for men to have a wife and several concubines. He never thought that Suyi would react so negatively. She did not even try to understand his actions. Suyi stood in the glow of the sunset without saying anything. See, Mu Ling was having a headache now. When I was hurt, Qingyan was the one who took care of me and stayed by my side. Where were you back then? Qingyan was the one who saved me without thinking twice about dying for me. Where were you back then? I love you, and that's why I tolerate your behavior. Chapter 884. Nanxian is here. 3 Mu Ling replied in annoyance. No outsider should comment on what concerns me and Suyi only. Then, I want comment. Feng Ruqing smiled. She did not comment anymore. It was because she started to attack him again. Boom. Soon, rocks started falling onto the ground just like a rain of rocks. However, all of it centered around the same target, Mu Ling. It seems that young Manor Master Mu has committed quite a lot of crimes. You're being punished by God. Feng Ruqing's smile deepened. Her smile was so deep that it reached her eyes. It was captivating. But where did the rocks come from? Feng Ruqing's medium was a world of its own. She could even bring out the houses in the medium when she became a dark warrior. Feng Ruqing's heart fluttered. What if she brought out the divine herbs sect in the medium and smashed Mu Ling to death? But the manor might not be able to hold it if she really did that. It would totally create great chaos. Feng Ruqing chose to forego that idea after much consideration. She would just use the giant rocks to crush Mu Ling to death. Feng Ruqing. Mu Ling gritted his teeth. He was caught in an awkward position, and he tried his best to dodge the rocks. Luckily, his strength was powerful. He could smash the rocks even if he was unable to dodge all of the rocks. What have you done? How did you do that? Did she just move the objects through the open space? But there are not that many rocks here for her to do that. Boom. Mu Ling was unprepared when a vine appeared from below him. He stumbled and fell down. Mu Ling would never fall into an enemy's trap so easily in the past. But who would have guessed that there would be vines appearing from underneath him and making him stumble? Moreover, the vines had appeared from underground directly. If it was created in space, he would have felt its presence. But no one could feel its presence if the vine appeared from underground, no matter how strong they were. Mu Ling seemed concentrated. He pulled the vine with great force and it was torn. But the rocks fell on him at lightning speed. He did not have enough time to dodge them or smash them. So, a rock fell on him and hit his balls hard when he turned around. Me for extra chapters. Mu Ling could hear the sound of his balls being crushed. It was a heart-wrenching pain. His whole body trembled and he drew in a cold breath. God damn it. He would totally kill that young girl even if Sui stopped him and sided with her. I heard that you're infertile now. Feng Ruching smiled. What's the use of keeping your balls? They're better smashed. You. Mu Ling crawled up from the ground. He held onto his crotch and his face darkened. He was outraged. Just how badly do you want to die? Suddenly, an endless stream of coldness came from behind him when Mu Ling was rushing toward Feng Ruching. Soon, Mu Ling's body became like a kite without its string. He flew up to the sky until he disappeared in front of them. Feng Ruching was speechless. She raised her head and looked at Mu Ling, who had now become a black in the sky. Then, she saw a man standing in the glow of the sunset not far away. Actually, Feng Ruching felt that Mu Ling came that day with some other underlying motives. She did not manage to ask him before he was swept away from them. He might have had a terrible fall then. In the sunset, the man in white was as beautiful as a fairy. His cold eyes were soon filled with gentleness when he gazed at Feng Ruching. If that man was as cold as snow before, now he was just like the spring breeze. Princess, Qingzhu trembled and stretched its little head from behind Nanxian. You don't even know what I've sacrificed for you. Qingzhu had sacrificed himself. It had almost lost its innocence too. Shaoqing. Feng Ruching saw Qingzhu at first glance. She laughed happily. It's been a while since we last met. Why do I feel that you're much better looking now? Your color is much greener. Qingzhu was speechless. It trembled and raised its head. It soon saw that Nanxian was looking at it. It swallowed its saliva with much difficulty. It's not my fault. Really. The princess said that I'm much greener now. It must be the reason why she noticed me. I did not attract her attention. It's really because of my color. Qingzhu's voice was shaky until the end. It was almost bursting into tears. I heard that there's a worm who adores you. One Qingzhu remained quiet. Let's arrange for your marriage when we're back. Qingzhu froze. It was asked to seduce another snake in the past. Now, the master wanted to arrange for its marriage. Master, there's nothing between the princess and I. There were a lot of spirit beasts in the princess manor. Why was the master so resolutely guarded against it? Was it its fault for being green? One, it was innocent. Nanxian and Qingzhu are back. Sui smiled softly and said, recently, Qing'er needs something to strengthen her body. This snake is quite fine. It could be used for that purpose so that this snake won't kidnap you. Qingzhu jumped down from Nanxian's neck. It ran away in tears. It could not stay with them anymore. Everybody was bullying it. It wanted to run away from home and never come back to them. Feng Ruching smiled and watched Qingzhu as it left them. After a while, she turned her gaze to Nanxian. Firstly, did you ask the people from the Divine Herbs sect to cause trouble in Tianxin Manor? Nanxian was quiet for a while. Qingzhu did that. Did you stalk me? Feng Ruching narrowed her eyes. Nanxian thought for a while. It was Qingzhu who persuaded me to do that. Did you go to Fengyan Manor and look for me there? That was Qingzhu too. All of those things were done by Qingzhu. Nanxian was innocent. Me for extra chapters. 1 inch really. Feng Ruching smiled beautifully. Yes, Nan Xian replied, calmly. Oh, it seems that Qingzhu has done quite a lot for me. I need to treat it better in the future. Don't always. Nan Xian pulled Feng Ruching into an embrace. I was just talking nonsense just now. I'm the one who has ordered Qingzhu to do those things. It has nothing to do with those things. Feng Ruching was speechless. How could the state preceptor say something like that so shamelessly? Suyi felt that her son had changed. He was never that shameless in the past. See. Feng Ruching turned and looked at Suyi. The old master of the Mu family's birthday is coming soon. Do you want to go? One Suyi was stunned and nodded her head slightly. I'll go with you. Feng Ruching held her hand. She sounded firm. A smile crept onto Suyi's calm face. The people of the Mu family are wicked and evil except the old master and Xiao Qing. Moreover, all of the others are white-eyed wolves. I don't want them to pollute your eyes. Her smile faded when she thought of the incidents that had happened in the past. Mu Ling said that only Qingyin stayed by his side when he was hurt. He did not know where I went. But what he did not know was that my strength was affected when I treated him. That's why he could live. Now, I'm still not fully recovered. Actually, I'm responsible for what happened too. I did not tell him the truth because I didn't want him to feel guilty about it. I have even asked the old master to hide the truth from him. But we met with the enemies of the Mu family when the three of us left Tianxin Manor back then. He only remembered that Chen Qingyan stayed by his side all the time. But he forgot that I was the one who has driven the enemies away. They were able to run away because of that. However, I was badly hurt. I hid for half a year to recover my strength before I could return to the Mu family. But the one who was careful not to hurt the others' feelings was Nan Xian now. Feng Ruching was in a difficult position. Nan Xian appeared to be cold and distant when she first met him. It had created a desire in her to tear off his coldness. But he had become a stalker now. I don't want you here because it's a place that only brings back nightmares to both of you. Feng Ruching raised her head and looked at Nan Xian with deep emotions. It doesn't mean that I don't want you here with me. But I have a very serious question for you. You must answer it. When did you fall in love with me? She could not remember when the state preceptor started to have feelings for her. Love at first sight? Feng Ruching did not care for that. She was extremely plump when she met the state preceptor for the first time. She did not believe that the state preceptor would fall in love with her at first sight. But the state preceptor had always sided with her even before she became slimmer. So, when did it happen? Nan Xian stroked the young girl's face. Maybe it all started when I was 5 years old. What? It turned out that Nan Xian had fallen for Feng Ruching since the age of 5? I met you in my dream when I was 5. In the dream, the young lattice body was covered with blood. Currently, whenever Nan Xian recalled the moment he looked into the young lattice eyes that were filled with sorrow, his heart was ripped apart. He pulled Feng Ruching into his arms and held her close. Nan Xian lowered his head to kiss her. Feng Ruching could feel his cold breath lingering on the tip of her nose, and that did not fade for a long while. Xiao Qing! Gui rushed into the manor, excitedly. At that very moment, Gui's face stiffened. She saw two people hugging and kissing each other. It was spectacularly breathtaking that even the most beautiful scenery could not compare. The young master was devastatingly handsome. He looked so ethereal and otherworldly. Resting in his embrace was an enchantingly stunning lady in a red robe. Her beauty could bring everyone to their knees. Burning with fury, Gu Yi's breathing turned shallow. Xiaoyin is right. Nan Xian is such a homewrecker. He has always been seducing Xiao Qing with his stunning face. It is fine if he loves Xiao Qing wholeheartedly, but he already has Qin Feier. Moreover, the Mu family is a mess currently. What if he breaks Xiao Qing's heart? One Feng Ruching was so gentle. Naturally, she was no match for those bastards. At this time, Nan Xian glanced at Gu Yi calmly. Although Nan Xian was just randomly looking around, when Nan Xian's eyes met Gu Yi's, her body stiffened. It felt as if a chill was piercing into her body, streaming all the way up into her heart from her feet. Go ahead. I am here to take a look. Please ignore me. Panicking, Gui rushed out of the manor. She could feel that if she stayed there any longer, Nansien would tear her apart. He might even whip her dead body after killing her. Only when Gui had left the manor, she calmed down and came back to her senses. Her father, Gu Shi, was the manor master of Tian Shan Manor. What was she afraid of? Gui was never scared of anything. However, when she saw Nansien, she lost her guts. Gui did not have the courage to go back. She pouted indignantly as she stared resentfully at the closed gate behind her. Me for extra chapters. Nansien is truly a homewrecker. He is too sketchy. I am no match for him without Xiaoyin by my side. Gui snorted. Xiaoyin is right. This homewrecker has seduced Xiaoqing with his stunning face. Xiaoqing loved beautiful faces. She has totally lost her mind because of him. Gui bit her finger. Suddenly, the image of Qin Fei flashed through her mind. Gui could not help getting more and more furious. Xiaoyin is right. Xiaoqing could dump Nansien, but Nansien could never dump Xiaoqing. Although we want to take Xiaoqing away, none of the ladies out there should catch a glimpse of her. I must think of a way to get rid of the slut. Qin Fei, when I go back, I must not upset Xiaoqing. Just as Gui turned around, a familiar figure came into sight. Seeing her, Gui's face darkened. And Siwas was standing not far away with a ghastly expression on her face. Her hands were balled into fists, her eyes were burning with jealousy. And Chui had struggled through some dark days ever since she was banished from the chief manor. Currently, she just wanted to take a stroll outside. Perhaps she could bump into an affluent young master, and her life would be much better than now. She had never thought that she would bump into Gui. More shockingly, Gui was so slim now. With a faint smile, and Chui walked slowly toward Gui. Even if she was jealous, she did not dare to show it on her face. Sister, I feel really bad that I could not make it to your birthday feast last time. I heard that you have called off the arranged marriage with Nansien? And Sui said softly. Whether or not I have broken off the engagement, what does that have anything to do with you? Gui snorted. Previously, Chui was the one who had encouraged Gui to look for Nansien in Luyun Kingdom. Not only did Chui push her, but she had also even made Feng Ruching a scapegoat. However, Gui could never meet Feng Ruching if Chui had never done that to her. Hearing this, Cuy's face changed slightly, but she quickly regained her composure. Sister, Nansien was previously your betrothed. Naturally, I could never fight with you. Now that you have called off the marriage, I want to be Nansien's concubine. Could you help me to get your father to tell young Master Mu Ling? And Chui reached out to grab Gui's arm gently. As Nansien was Gui's betrothed previously, and Chui dared not make such a request. Since Nansien had nothing to do with Gui now, she must seize the opportunity. Sister, I am your cousin. As the saying goes, one should always keep the benefits within the family. You will never let me down, will you? And Cuy's eyes were flooded with tears. Gui shook off Cuy's hand, violently. She had never felt that tears could be this disgusting before this. Gui's reaction caught Chui completely off guard. Startled, Chui took a few steps backward. Her eyes were still fixed on Gui. Why do you think that Nansien would make you his concubine if my father talks to young Master Mu Ling about it? Gui's face darkened. She looked down at Chui disdainfully. Chui pursed her lips tightly. Previously, when Chui was still in the chief manor, the Mu family did not hesitate to make her Nansien's concubine. She did not even need Gui's help. Now everyone knew Chui had been thrown out of the chief manor. The people of the Mu family were very snobbish. Naturally, they would never accept Chui to be Nansien's concubine. Sister, please help me. You are the only one who can help me. Otherwise, my mother and I will not be able to survive. And Chui cried, pitifully. Oh, if you cannot survive, you could just end your life. If you can't do it yourself, I could help you. Gui stared coldly at Chui, and Cuy's eyes widened in shock. She could not believe the things that she had just heard. And Chui was Gui's kin after all. How could Gui say that to her? The Gu family's guards stared sternly at Chui. They had unsheathed the swords and taken a few steps forward. Gui, you are so ruthless. Seeing this, and Shui took a few steps backward, subconsciously. Her face was ghastly pale. Me for extra chapters. You said you will not be able to survive. I am helping you because you are my cousin. Do you know why I have broken off the marriage with Nancian? Gui smiled as he walked up to Shui. Why? Because he has taken away the lady whom I love the most. And Shui turned her head stiffly and stared blankly at Gui's stunning faces. So, why do you think that I would help you? Gui's eyes curved into two crescent moons. Although Gui had called off the marriage as she felt that the Mu family had deceived her, she would never tell Shui about this. She wanted Shui to know that she would never help others to do something that might upset Feng Ruqing. Gui, I am your cousin, and we share the same blood. And Cui's face contorted with rage. She had stopped pretending to be pitiful. Drain all her blood from her body. Gui pouted. Hearing this, Shui was rendered speechless. You said that we share the same blood, didn't you? When all your blood is drained from your body, I will inject the blood of a different families into your body. Hence, you will not be related to me in any way anymore. And Shui might lose her life. Thinking of this, and Cui's body gave an involuntary shudder. Seeing the two guards walking up to her and holding onto her arms, and Shui was frightened and quickly pushed the guards away. She then pounced on Gui and held onto her thigh. Sister, I was wrong. Don't let them drain my blood. I'm scared. And Shui knew that Gui had always walked the talk. And Shui, you are part of the Yin family, which has nothing to do with the Gu family. I will tell my father to send you and your mother back when I get home. Gu Shi had banished Shui and her mother out of the chief manor, but not Tian Shun manor as he wanted to spare their feelings. Hence, they did not suffer from hunger after leaving the chief manor. However, both of them were ungrateful wretches. No, and Shui was getting more panicked. She did not want to go back to that place. She did not want to go back to the dark days. Moreover, and Cui's mother would be beaten to death. Gui disregarded Shui and left together with the guards. Standing under the setting sun, Shui watched Gui left. She could feel an icy cold sensation all over her body like she was being dumped into an ice cellar. Gui, you are truly ruthless. You don't even care about your kin. One tears broke free from the corner of Sui's eyes. Her face was contorted in rage. I will ask others to help me. When I step into the Mu family, everything that you have chosen to let go would become mine. The Prince Charming of all the ladies in Tianshan Manor is mine. Everyone in Mu family was very busy as the old master's birthday was just around the corner. Perhaps Mu Ling did not tell anyone that Sui had returned to the Mu family. Sui's life was peaceful and quiet. No one in the Mu family disturbed her. At the time, Han Feng saw Mu Ling from afar as he limped out of the main hall. Master, you are back. When you were not around in the past half a month, Lady Tan had taken full control of the old master's birthday feast preparation, Han Feng said. Excitement crept into his voice. How could that undignified lady prepare for the old master's birthday feast? Mu Ling's face darkened. Me for extra chapters. Your leg has not recovered yet? Mu Ling asked as he frowned. Han Feng smiled wryly. The other day, Mu Ling had tasked Han Feng to send the bride price to the Princess Manor. However, before Han Feng could step into the Princess Manor, Feng Ruqing had thrown him out of the manor. Unfortunately, Nancian and Sui had beheld the whole incident. Not only did Han Feng's leg was crippled, he was severely injured. He had been resting in the Mu family since, and had only managed to walk out of the chamber today. I have promised my old friend to introduce you to him. He was supposed to leave earlier, but since I did not manage to see you, I have brought him here. You have even done this without consent. Feng Ruqing's eyes swept past Qian Kuan disdainfully. Before Feng Ruqing could respond, the old man who stood next to Qian Kuan rushed over and held tightly onto Sui's arm. Exploding with rage, Feng Ruqing's foot shot out to kick him. The old man dodged nimbly. Her feet brushed past the old man's ear. However, a gust of wind from her foot had blown his hair into a wild tangle. Qian Kuan panicked and stared blankly at the old man. Hairong, how could you do this to a lady? Even if this lady is pretty, you must not do that. You have ruined my reputation. Qian Kuan brought Hairong to see Feng Ruqing, but he had never thought that Hairong would do something so rude to a beautiful lady. Hairong was truly shameless. Suyi stared blankly at the old man before her. The old man looked familiar to her, but she could not recall where she had met him. You are Mu Huan's master. Hairong? Feng Ruqing narrowed her eyes. Hearing Feng Ruqing, Hairong had finally regained his sense. However, he did not look at Feng Ruqing. Hence, he did not notice that Feng Ruqing's face had darkened. You are right. Mu Huan is my disciple. Feng Ruqing grabbed Suyi's hand, drawing her back, and was blocking the old man from seeing Suyi. Feeling a little awkward, Hairong coughed gently. Hairong was too excited just now. It was natural that Feng Ruqing kept her guard up against him. Lady, do you remember me? Hairong turned to look at Suyi with a smile on his face. We used to discuss medical skills on the Divine Cloud Mount. It has been nearly 20 years since we met. You still look exactly the same as you did. I could recognize you at first glance. I heard that you are married now. How are you doing? Where is your husband? Why is he not here with you? Suyi stared attentively at Hairong. After pondering for a long while, she could finally recall who this old man was. Oh, it's you. It's been more than 20 years. You looked a lot older. I could not recognize you just now. Hairong was dumbstruck by Suyi's words. Suyi still looked as young as when they first met, but Hairong was old. His beard had turned gray. Both of you know each other? Qian Kuan felt immensely relieved. He thought that Hairong was so shameless and was coming on to Suyi. Fortunately, it turned out that they knew each other. Otherwise, he would not have known how to straighten this out. Is she your daughter? Hairong looked at Feng Ruqing with a smile on his face. Qian Kuan has always been complimenting young lady Xiaoqing. Hence, I am here to see her. Lady, I did not think that you would become a mother so soon. Your daughter is so outstanding. Is she betrothed to anyone yet? I know many talented young masters. Suyi already felt a little uneasy meeting an old friend. When she heard Hairong's words, her face darkened a few shades. She quickly grabbed onto Feng Ruqing's arm, drawing Feng Ruqing next to her. Me for extra chapters. She is my daughter-in-law. Hearing this, Hairong's smile stiffened. He was actually poaching Suyi's daughter-in-law before her? Cough, cough. Well, I didn't mean it. I had no idea that she is your daughter-in-law. Hairong coughed and smiled awkwardly. No worries. I trust you. However, my son may not trust you. Suyi gave Hairong an elegant and carefree smile. Mu Ling and Qingyan have missed you. They talked about you some time ago. Now that you are back, why don't you pay them a visit? How long do you plan to stay here this time? Why don't we go for a walk in the Divine Cloud Mountain? We are old friends. After all, you haven't visited me since you got married. Hairong's eyes went round as he quickly changed the topic. As Hairong had no children, he had always been living a carefree and unrestrained life until he met Suyi. Suyi was young and smart back then. Hairong had treated her as if she was his own daughter. Otherwise, he would not have taken Mu Huan as his disciple to repay her kindness. As soon as Hairong finished speaking, the smile on Feng Ruqing and Suyi's faces faded. As Suyi had a good upbringing, she did not show emotion on her face. However, she wanted to throw Hairong out of the manor. Grandmaster Qian Kuan, please show him out of here. Chapter 892. Hairong's agitation too. Did I say something wrong? Hairong's face stiffened. Young lady Xiaoqing, may I know the reason why? The corners of Qian Kun's lips lifted a little. When Feng Ruqing knew that Hairong was Mu Huan's master, she did not like him as she did not like anyone associated with Chen Qingyan. However, since Hairong was Suyi's old friend, she thought that Hairong was different from the people of the Mu family. Little did she know that there was no difference. On top of that, Hairong had actually stood up for them. It's because Suyi would never return to the Mu family. The people of the Mu family had hurt Suyi so badly. Why must Suyi go back to the Mu family? Dumbfounded, Hairong stood there on the spot, unsure of what to think. Hearing Suyi's name, Qian Kuren stared at Suyi's elegant face in shock. Back then, when Qian Kuren came to the chief manor, Suyi had left the Mu family. Hence, he had never met Suyi. However, he would never forget her name. Young Lady Xiaoqing, you must tell me why you want me to leave. Otherwise, I will just stay here and you must give me a treat. Hairong's voice trembled. Hairong. Qian Kun's face changed. He quickly tugged at Hairong's sleeve. Just say it. Hairong glared at Qian Kun. Her name is Suyi. What's wrong with that? Suyi. The name of the young lady of the Mu family is Suyi. Qian Kun wanted to punch Hairong's head. Hairong realized what was happening. He turned his head around, stiffly. His body stiffened like a stone. You are Suyi? Your name is Suyi? Hairong stared blankly at Suyi. Hairong, you said that she is your old friend, but you don't even know her name? Qian Kun smirked. It was true that Hairong did not know Suyi's name as Suyi had never told him. Hairong had always been burying himself in the art of healing. Hence, he had never asked Suyi's name before. Hairong knew Mu Ling's name as Mu Ling had told Hairong that since the first time they met. What? She is Suyi? She is the young lady who left the Mu family? Hairong's old face was ghastly pale. His body was so icy cold that even the sun was not capable of warming him up. Hairong, you really? Qian Kun stared at Hairong. A look of shock and disbelief crept into his face. Me for extra chapters. He really doesn't know her name? I owed you a favor back then. Mu Ling came to me together with Mu Huan and asked me to take her as my disciple to repay your kindness. Chun Qingyin had told me that you are her sister and Mu Huan, your niece. I really had no idea that you are the young lady of the Mu family. Hairong's quivering hands balled into fists. As Hairong was burning with anger just now, he had lost his senses. It was Qian Kun who had woken him up. Hairong had finally realized why Feng Ruqing wanted to chase him out of the manor. If Hairong were Feng Ruqing, he would have beaten himself to death too. Feng Ruqing had treated Hairong with courtesy and respect because of Suyi by asking Qian Kun to take Hairong away. Mu Ling, Chun Qingyin. Hairong clenched his fists tightly. His face was contorted with a furious rage. You bastards! How dare you lie to me? Hairong owed Suyi a favor, but not only did Mu Ling drive Suyi away because of a concubine, but the concubine's daughter had also even taken away something that belonged to Suyi. It was all Hairong's fault. Chapter 893. Hairong's agitation 3. Back then, Mu Ling and Suyi were constantly together, just like peas and carrots. Hairong did ask Mu Ling whether Suyi was Mu Ling's wife. Although Mu Ling did not deny it, he did not admit it either. Hence, Hairong had thought that Suyi was not Mu Ling's wife. Since Mu Ling treated Suyi so well, and Suyi had relied on him, even if they were not a couple, they must be siblings. Hence, Hairong had never refused Mu Ling's requests. Hairong trusted Mu Ling so much. He had never thought that Mu Ling would deceive him. This is utterly ridiculous. Hairong let out a boisterous laugh, which was filled with anger. Mu Huan's medical talent is average, but she has no talent in cultivation. Since I have taken her as my disciple, I must guide her properly. I have given her so many spirit herbs in order to improve her strength. Hairong hid the fury in his eyes as he spoke. In the end, it turned out that Hairong had put so much effort into the wrong person. Although Mu Huan is haughty, it is not something awful. I am no different. That's how the people out there think of me after all. She does not have any other bad traits besides that. She is the only one by my side in the divine Cloud Mountain all these years. She has been staying with me for more than 10 years, but her parents are annoying. Mu Huan was just a kid back then. If she had no idea what her parents were doing, Hairong would not blame her. However, if she was part of the sham, no matter how many years she had stayed with him, Hairong would never forgive her. Qian Kun merely sighed. Before that, Hairong had always stayed in the mountain alone. After taking Mu Huan as his disciple, Mu Huan had been keeping him company for over 10 years. Hence, it was natural that Hai Rong could not bear to part with Mu Huan. No matter how much Hai Rong disliked his disciple, having stayed together for such a long time, he could hardly leave her behind. However, if Mu Huan had been deceiving Hai Rong, then she had ulterior motives staying with him. No matter how much Hai Rong cared for Mu Huan, he would never forgive her. Suyi, I have always been on the mountain and was not aware of the things that happen here. However, if anyone does anything wrong to you, I will avenge you. Hai Rong stared at Suyi apologetically. Hai Rong was reluctant to part with Mu Huan as she had been accompanying him all these years. However, Hai Rong cared, pitied, and admired Suyi. Knowing that Suyi had gone through a lot of struggles all these years, he felt bad for her. Moreover, Hai Rong owed Suyi a favor, but he had actually repaid her kindness to those who hurt her. There is no need. I'm back here because of the old master's birthday. Moreover, the people of the Mu family think that I am a good-for-nothing and always mess with my son. They have even hurt Qing'er. There are certain things that I must do on my own. Suyi smiled gracefully. Me for extra chapters. Besides, I am here because of Nanxian and Qing'er. No one will be sticking their nose into my son's marriage. Qing'er is my only daughter-in-law. Initially, Suyi had cared for Feng Ruqing as her son was in love with her. Suyi would accept whoever her son fell for. However, as time went by, Suyi was growing increasingly fond of Feng Ruqing. Since you are here, I am not going to leave any time soon. Hai Rong sank into silence. What? I have been staying on the mountain all these years. I can hardly tell if someone is true to me. I want to see Mu Huan's true colors as she has always been by my side all these years. Hai Rong smiled wryly. A look of resolute determination crept into her eyes. Hai Rong, you must not trust someone too much. Have you forgotten what had happened back then? Qian Kuan smiled wryly. Hai Rong would not have vowed never to heal anyone if not because of something that had happened back then. As the saying goes, one would never know if the person he treated was indeed a human or a demon. Suyi, I owe you an explanation on this. Suppressing his fury, Hai Rong stared deep into Suyi's eyes and then turned to walk away. Qian Quan cupped his hands in respect and rushed after Hai Rong. Watching Qian Quan and Hai Rong leaving, Feng Ruqing narrowed her eyes and sank into contemplation. It seems that Mu Ling is true to Qin Qingyan. He has left all his principles behind because of her. Suyi's smile was as graceful as a gentle breeze. At this time, Feng Ruqing regained her focus and turned her head to look at Suyi. She heaved a sigh of relief when she noticed that the anger in Suyi had faded away. It seemed that Suyi had truly let go of Mu Ling. True love is mutual affection between two persons, and no third person is allowed to step into a relationship. Apparently, if a third party could easily break into a relationship, that is not true love. Just let him go. We shall see how long their relationship will last. Feng Ruqing smiled. If Mu Ling truly loved Qin Qingyan, he would never have brought Tan Shuangshuang back to the Mu family. Would you mind if I ruin the Mu family's reputation? Thinking of Tan Shuangshuang, Feng Ruqing looked at Suyi in her face. The Mu family is the old master's painstaking effort. Perhaps you should ask the old master. The old master and Xiao Qingyin had wholeheartedly taken care of me when I was in the Mu family back then, Suyi replied, stunned. Although Suyi disliked the people of the Mu family, the old master was part of the Mu family after all. Suyi could not bear seeing the old master suffer. Moreover, the old master's health was declining. If Xiao Qingyin helms the Mu family, then don't ruin it. However, if Mu Ling is at the wheel, it would not be too late for you to do anything you want after I get Xiao Qingyin and the old master out of the Mu family, Suyi said with a faint smile on her face. The old master of the Mu family was poor in health. Xiao Qingyin was no better. If the two of them continued staying in such a toxic place, they would die from anger. Feng Ruqing had nothing to do with the Mu family. She did not even care if the Mu family's reputation was ruined. However, she cared for Suyi. She would never do anything that could hurt the things that Suyi cared for. The old master's birthday is just around the corner. Nancian and I will go to the Mu family together with you. Me for extra chapters. Actually, you don't have to do that. Will you curse anyone? Feng Ruching asked. Sui shook her head. Will you hit anyone? Feng Ruching continued asking. Sui pursed her lips together. Sui would hit Mu Ling and Chen Qingyan. However, she would not lay a hand on the rest. Well, that place is like a dragon's pool and a tiger's den. It's full of danger. You will definitely get hurt. Hence, Nancian and I will never let you go there alone. Moreover, I want to know how many of them had laid a hand on you back then. I will get Gui to bring a book along to jot down their names. Feng Ruching reached out to stroke Sui's face. Feng Ruching's words warmed Sui's heart. All right, even if there were a dragon's pool and a tiger's den ahead of us, we are a family and we shall face it together. Outside Tian Shun Manor, a couple stood together high up on Cloud Mountain. The young master was incredibly handsome with heroic bearing. He looked extremely imposing and domineering. The lady standing next to him was devastatingly gorgeous. Her beauty could bring everyone to their knees. Chapter 895. Hairong's Plan I. The lady bore some semblances to Feng Ruching. Her faint smile shone as brightly as a moon. Yenner, I have prepared the gift. Shall we get Great Elder Lei Yun to send it to Tian Shun Manor? Feng Tianyu turned his head sideways. The old master's birthday is coming soon. We must not sit back and do nothing. No one is allowed to look down on my daughter. Get Great Elder Lai Yun to send the gift to the Mu family personally. I want everyone to know that Nailin Yan's daughter deserves everything she wants. The corner of Nailin Yan's lips lifted. Naturally, Nailin Yan did not want any young master to take Feng Ruching away. However, since Feng Ruching had fallen for Nancian, Nailin Yin knew that she could never keep her daughter by her side forever. Nailin Yin must accept Nancian. Unfortunately, as Nailin Yin was away for years, she did not know much about the things that had happened. She had only learned about Nancian's background from Great Elder Lei Yun. Hence, she knew what exactly the Mu family was. That rascal Nancian is so lucky to have my daughter. Since he is part of the Mu family, why did he come to Lu Yun Kingdom to be the state preceptor? He has even taken my dearest daughter's heart away. He must have fallen for Qing'er since a long time ago and has purposely gotten into Lu Yun Kingdom to take Qing'er away. Feng Tianyu was a little annoyed. He felt that Nancian had deceived him. Feng Tianyu trusted Nancian so much and had thought of getting Nancian to take Feng Ruching as his disciple. Feng Tianyu had even made Nancian a state preceptor, but it turned out that all these while, Nancian only wanted to sleep with Feng Tianyu's daughter. No one in this world could tolerate this. Tianyu, Fengyun Manor is no match for Tian Shun Manor now. However, it will surpass Tian Shan Manor one day later. Nailin Yin held on to Feng Tianyu's hand. Tian Shun Manor commanded the loftiest power in this realm as it had been established 1,000 years ago. On the contrary, Fengyun Manor was just established a few decades ago, but had already made it this far. Nailin Yin must make Fengyun Manor more powerful, so it could be Feng Ruching's strong backing. Tianyu, we must go to Tian Shan Manor. I have been searching for our son ever since I left the Divine Herbs sect. I have seen some progress back then. Now, I can confirm that our son is associated with the Tian Shan Manor. However, I am unable to get the person who took our son away. Nailin Yin sneered. Me for extra chapters. Previously, Gu Zhenyang had taken Nailin Yin away right after delivery, but she had managed to escape from the Divine Herbs sect. As Nailin Yin missed her family so badly, she returned to the palace. However, she could only find Feng Ruching in the palace. Her son was missing. It was then, when Nailin Yin had built Fengyun Manor. She had tasked the people of Fengyun Manor to look for her son. Unfortunately, before she could find her son, the people of the Divine Herbs sect had attacked her. She was severely injured and Tang Luo had brought her back to the Tang family. If not for Tang Luo, perhaps, Nailin Yin would have found her son. Fengyun Manor would have surpassed the Mu family. Her son would not be still missing, and no one would look down on her daughter now. Read more chapter on Novelful. Every time Nailin Yin thought of Tang Luo, a deep resentment crept into her heart. Yenner, everything is in the past now. Our family has reunited. I believe that our son is still safe and sound. Feng Tianyu felt bad for Nailin Yin and held her close in his arms. Nailin Yin held back the resentment in her heart since Tang Luo died a miserable death. She must learn to let go. Chapter 896. Hairong's Plan 2-inch. I understand. Now the only thing that I am thankful for is that you are still here, and that's enough. In Paramount, Jiuming was leaning lazily on the back of the chair that he was sitting on. A woman was respectfully standing in front of him. It is the Mu family's master's birthday in a few days. Feng Lan, send a congratulatory gift on behalf of Paramount. Jiuming smiled, evilly. In Feng Ruking's name, Feng Lan was stunned. In the prince's name, or no, it should be in Paramount's master's name. Feng Lan was speechless. Young master, are you sure that Princess Feng Ruqing will not be angry if she knows that you have forced the title Paramount Master onto her? Feng Lan was a little silent. After a while, she said, recently, the people of the Mu family have been wandering outside Paramount. If you do this, the people might find out that the spirit herb dish was provided by the princess. You don't have to worry too much. It will be fine as long as we deny it regardless of their guesses. You just have to let the people know that little Qinger is Paramount's master. Jiuming stood up from the chair lazily. Little Qinger went to Tianshan Manor this time. She would definitely attend the Mu family's master's birthday feast. How can I not support her? Fengyan Manor's name was obviously not enough to make Mu Ling uncomfortable. What if Feng Ruqing also held the title of Paramount's master? Did Mu Ling not come to Paramount for Divine Physician Qingxian? He would not tell Mu Ling that Feng Ruqing was Divine Physician Qingxian. The entire Paramount belonged to Qinger. However, if Mu Ling was nicer to Qinger earlier, naturally, he would have easily found Divine Physician Qingxian. Read more chapter on novel full. As for the gift, you can pick something from the Spirit Herb Chamber. Don't be too stingy. We are going there to support Qinger. Young master. Feng Lan glanced at Jiuming hesitantly. You care about the princess so much. Why don't you go there in person? Because I'm afraid that I won't be able to control myself from taking her away from Nan Xian. Jiuming's fingers stroked his lips. He smiled. After all, little Qinger is too attractive. I need to spend a lot of energy to hold myself back from snatching her away. This was bad. His little Qinger would definitely get angry. Feng Lan lowered her head. Young master, I understand. Young master was so infatuated in Feng Ruqing, but he was still one step later than Nan Xian. The princess already had someone who she liked. Empress Nailin and Feng Tianyu were so affectionate. Their daughter would also be very loyal and affectionate. Therefore, it was impossible for Feng Ruqing to love another person other than Nan Xian. Me for extra chapters. If young master was unable to stop loving Feng Ruqing, he would be very lonely. The birthday feast organized by the Mu family is bound to not be peaceful. Jiuming's smile was unfathomable. When little Qinger gives anyone a tough time, you don't have to say much. You just need to remember those people's names. Yes, young master. Feng Lan bowed and left. Jiuming gazed out of the boathouse. His eyes were gloomy, and the lightning birthmark under his eyebrow looked even eviler. If I can't take her away, then I will be her family. I'd like to see how many people at the Mu family will bully her this time. Inside the inn, Mu Huan stood in the room nervously. She looked anxious. She always thought that Master had already left. She did not expect him to be here, and it seemed that Master was in a hurry to find her. Master, my mother and I want to find a birthday gift for grandfather. I could not serve Master well during this period. Are you blaming me for that? Chapter 897. Hairong's Plan 3. Mu Huan had always looked superior and untouchable in front of others. She could only be like a normal student with good behavior and a clear voice while facing Hairong. Hairong did not like living in the Mu family's manor, so he had always lived in the inn. He would only go to the Mu family when he needed to diagnose the old master. Huaner. Hairong slowly turned around. He spoke softly. The girl to whom I became indebted to back then, Is she really your mother's distant cousin? Why didn't she return during the old master's birthday? I heard your mother say that your father had always taken good care of her. Hence, your father appeared with her in Divine Cloud Mountain that day. If that was the case, she should have come back for the old master's birthday. Mu Huan looked a little hesitant. Why did Master suddenly ask about that woman again? Moreover, Master had always admired Suyi. Why did he sound like he was criticizing her now? Mu Huan had always felt that something was wrong, but she could not sense anything from Hai Rong's tone. He seemed to be really defending the old master. Well, Mu Huan pursed her lips. She is my aunt. As for why she didn't come back, I don't know. Maybe the Mu family is not that important to her. Who knows? Hai Rong's heart sank a little. He had never heard anything about Suyi from Mu Huan. Everything he knew about Suyi was from Chen Xingyin and Mu Ling's mouths. Therefore, he just wanted to know if Mu Huan would tell him the truth this time. Yet, Mu Huan still let him down. Read more chapter on novel Full Huaner. I have also heard that Mu Ling once had a wife called Suyi. Hai Rong slightly frowned. Why have I never met her at the Mu family? Mu Huan started to be slightly vigilant. She became more and more anxious. She would definitely stigmatize Suyi if it were in the past, and she would have then made Master dislike the woman. However, her anxiety did not let her explain that fact. She said vaguely, I was not quite sure. I was not born yet when she left. Hai Rong was a little confused. Me for extra chapters. Mu Huan had never met Suyi? Then did it mean that Mu Ling and Chen Xingyin had not only deceived him, but also Mu Huan about the distant cousin? Did they fear that Mu Huan would accidentally spill it out? Even though Hai Rong was questioning many things in his heart, he was a little cold to his apprentice, Mu Huan. After all, Mu Huan became his apprentice through deception. He was reluctant to let her go because she had accompanied him for many years. Nonetheless, Hai Rong still did not directly ask everything. He smiled. I'm just a little curious because I heard Mu Ling mentioning Suyi. Huaner, just forget it. You did not get to see her anyway. By the way, I am planning to attend the old master's birthday feast since I'm not leaving yet. Do you know what the old master likes? Mu Huan's heart was shaking. Father once said that Suyi would return to attend the birthday feast. Therefore, she must not let her master stay. Her father had given her a task this time when she came to meet Hai Rong. She must persuade her master to leave Tian Shun Manor and never let him meet Suyi. Actually, Mu Huan had always thought that master would not abandon her even after he got to know about all these. However, many people would be attending grandfather's birthday feast. That was why such a scandal must not be revealed at such times. If other people knew about it, the Mu family's reputation would be ruined. Master. Mu Huan smiled. She held Hai Rong's arm. Aren't you worried about those spirit herbs in the back hill? How can I trouble you for my grandfather's birthday? Besides, you are very famous among people. I'm afraid that those people might come and bother you instead of congratulating my grandfather. Master, you always know that I decided to become your apprentice because I admire you. My father has never once thought of using your name to enhance the Mu family's reputation. Furthermore, I will not allow such things to happen. Chapter 898. Hai Rong's plan for Hai Rong smiled a little. No problem. I don't care about that. I can't just leave after arriving here. I will leave after the old master's birthday. Master. Mu Huan panicked. She dared not show any expression on her face. But the spirit herbs on the back hill would be eaten by the spirit beasts if no one is looking after them. Hai Rong was feeling uneasy, and she had basically determined that his guess was right. Huaner, why are you stopping me from joining the old master's birthday feast? Is there someone whom I can't meet there? A clear panic could be seen in Mu Huan's eyes this time. Even if it was just for a second, Hai Rong could still clearly see it. Master, how could there be anyone whom I don't want you to meet at the birthday feast? Mu Huan smiled. She then said kindly, I'm really asking because of the spirit herbs on the back hill. Master has always looked after the spirit herbs well. Didn't you mention that there were a few spirit herbs that would mature soon? I fear that the spirit beasts would fight over them. Master has initially wanted to go back before they mature. right? Mu Huan paused. So how can I bother you for grandfather's birthday? What she said was reasonable. It was as if she was really thinking about Hairong. Hairong's eyes sank a little. He stared at Mu Huan for a while before he burst out laughing. You're right. The spirit herbs on the back hill are about to mature. I should go back. Huaner, you don't have to escort me this time. You shall return to Divine Cloud Mountain after the old master's birthday. Yes, master. Mu Huan's flustered heart finally relaxed. It seems that master really does not know about Suyi. As long as the two of them do not meet, mother's lie would not be detected. Read more chapter on novel full at least. The two of them must never meet each other at the birthday feast. Huaner, am a bit tired. You shall go back and prepare for the birthday feast. If I can't make it to the feast, I will definitely send a big congratulatory gift to the old master. He purposely aggravated the word big with a gentle smile. No matter how cunning Mu Huan was, she was still too young. Even if she had sensed that something was wrong at first, how could she have won against an experienced old fox? I thank you on behalf of my grandfather. Mu Huan left with a cheerful smile on her face. Me for extra chapters. Hairong's face turned cold after Mu Huan had left. He clenched his fists tightly. Everyone knows that I am Mu Huan's master. Mu Ling knows that I don't like fame and fortune. I hate those who value fame and fortune. He dares not ask me to do anything for the Mu family, but it doesn't mean that he will not use my name to do other things in the future. Mu Ling and Chen Xingyin have treated me as a fool. Mu Huan also did not tell me the truth. This time, he'll let everyone know that I will cut off my relationship with the Mu family. He did not like fame and fortune and also detested deception. He could not forgive anyone who had cheated him regardless of who he was. The old master's birthday feast was coming and Tian Shun Manor was busier than ever. The old master had made many friends, and it was normal for many people to join him in celebration. However, that was in the past. After the old master had taken ill, those people had disappeared and had never shown up even once. It had never been so lively like today for a long time. Even Mu Ling was a little surprised. He had only regained his senses after he heard Han Feng's report. Those people have decided to come because they heard that Grandmaster Hairong is at the Mu family. They want to take this opportunity to build connections with Grandmaster Hairong. Grandmaster Qian Kurin is at the chief manor. Those people could not approach him. However, Hairong also does not value fame and fortune at all. Therefore, he is even more difficult to approach. Mu Ling was a little regrettable. It's such a waste. Hairong's name can be used anywhere. If only he is willing to help the Mu family, I don't have to ask Nancian to return and arrange the marriage for him. We have Grandmaster Hairong with us. We don't have to fear that those families would not unite with the Mu family. Chapter 899. Birthday Feast. Nonetheless, Hairong did not value fame and fortune and hated those who coveted those. Han Feng, you may leave. Many people are attending the old master's birthday feast. We must ensure that nothing goes wrong at such times. Yes, young master. Han Feng clenched his fists respectfully and walked out of the hall with a limping foot. It did not take long for Mu Huan to walk in from the door after Han Feng left. She was very cold and proud while facing her father, unlike the kind and approachable girl in front of Hairong. I've already gone to master. He will leave in the next few days. Mu Huan's face was dark. But I think master may already doubt what you and mother have said. Mu Ling's heart suddenly trembled. He stood up instantly. What did you just say? Has Hairong started to doubt us?
Yes.
Mu Huan slightly nodded. Father, you should tell master the truth after grandfather's birthday. I think he may know about it sooner or later. Mu Ling was holding his fist tightly. No, you can't let him know. Otherwise, everything will be ruined. Father. Mu Huan's face was dark. Do you think that the 10 years that I have spent with master was not as valuable as the few months that you and Suyi spent together? If you do this, it will make me think that Suyi was the reason for what I have achieved so far. I obviously rely on my own strength. What is Suyi? Slap? Mu Ling was angry and slapped Mu Huan's face fiercely. Mu Huan's entire body froze. She raised her head in disbelief. She was shocked and very disappointed. Father had never touched her since she was a child. Now, he was hitting her for that woman. In his heart, was that woman more important than his daughter? Read more chapter on novel Full Huaner. Mu Ling looked at Mu Huan's cold face. He felt guilty. I didn't mean to hit you. Even if Sui has done something wrong, she is still my wife. You should not talk about your elders like that. He could blame Sui. However, Huaner was young. The young ones should respect the elders. Me for extra chapters. Mu Huan smiled sarcastically. Father, it was Mother who looked after you when you were sick. Nan Sui ran away with another person and disappeared for a month. Later, it was Mother who had protected you when you were being hunted. However, Nan Sui had already fled and left you two behind. Mother has done so much for you and Nan Sui has done nothing. Why do you still prefer Nan Sui more? Huaner, you weren't like this before. Why did you become so aggressive after leaving the Mu family only for a few years? Seeing that his well-behaved daughter no longer existed, Mu Ling's heart slightly sank. He felt the pain in his heart. He immediately regretted it after slapping her. Huaner was still his daughter after all. She was being protected and raised well since young. She had never been wronged once. But he hit her. Mu Huan sneered. I just can't stand to see what you have done to Mother. You love Mother because she was more obedient than Nan Sui. Mother allowed you to marry more wives and did not complain about anything. You are still not satisfied after having Mother. You have even married Tan Shuangshuang and brought her into the Mu family. Father, how can you make me respect you? If you want me to respect you, it's easy. Just drive Tan Shuangshuang out and announce to the world that Nan Sui is no longer your wife. You can say that she has a relationship with another man. Chapter 900. Birthday Feast 2. Only with this, Master could thoroughly see what kind of person Nan Sui was. Even if everything was not revealed in the end, Master would only be angry that he was blinded and would never blame Mother for this. Mu Ling's eyes flared with anger again. But after seeing Mu Huan's stubborn face, he finally relented. I will not do such a thing. Not only because Sui would never do that, but also that the Mu family's face is not allowed to be discredited. Announcing that Sui was in a relationship with another man, the shame was still his. Mu Ling. He could not afford losing face like this. Moreover, although Sui would no longer forgive him, she would not accept other men so easily. Mu Ling was still very confident about this. Mu Huan straightened her sleeves fiercely. Without saying a word, she turned around and left. In the Mu family, there seemed to be a terrifying storm. Chen Qingyan had come back one day later than Mu Huan. She hurried to the old master's courtyard when she returned. However, she was told that the old master had already moved out of the courtyard. Her face suddenly changed and her eyes were gloomy. Who allowed you to let father move out of the courtyard? Did you treat the old master harshly when I was not around? The people shivered. They kneeled down in a row with fear in their eyes. Read more chapter on novelful. Lady Qingyan was not like Lady Sui. She always had a good temper. This was the first time she had become angry. The weight of the old master in her heart was obvious. Qingyan, me for extra chapters. A gentle voice came from behind. Mu Ling's anger toward Mu Huan had disappeared immediately when he saw Chen Qingyan. He said tenderly, What happened? Why are you losing your temper when you have just returned? He believed that Qingyan was not a person who was easily provoked. Someone must have provoked her. Brother Lin. Chen Qingyan was in tears. She sobbed, I have only just left for a while. Why has the old master moved to second brother's courtyard? Oh, regarding this matter, Mu Ling shook his head with a grin. Somehow, the old master had always been asking to move out. I couldn't stop him, so I agreed to let him move out. You can follow him if you want. Chen Qingyan's face was a little pale. No, absolutely not. The old master must come back to the east courtyard. He should never leave the east courtyard. Brother Lin. Chen Qingyan lowered her head with tears in her eyes. The east courtyard is a place suitable for healing. I am saying this for the old master's sake. Furthermore, I have planted many spirit plants and placed them around the courtyard to help to enhance the old master's recovery. Second brother's courtyard is not bad, but after all, it is a bit remote and unsuitable for curing illness. How could you agree with the old master? Although she was criticizing him, Mu Ling's heart softened again because he could see that Chen Qingyin was really concerned about the old master. Qingyin, the old master, can be very stubborn at times. I can't do anything. I will persuade him when I have the time. He is my father. I can't be too tough on him. Sometimes, Mu Ling was still a filial son. However, he valued fame and fortune too much. He dared not let the people know that the old master's strength was getting poorer. Chen Qingyin panicked and pursed her lip tightly. But, Brother Ling, my father's birthday is coming. Just let him stay there for the meantime. I will try to get him to move back after his birthday is over. I know you said all this for my father's sake. Even though the old master is now living in second brother's courtyard, you can still go visit him. Second brother will not dare to stop you. Chapter 901. Birthday Feast 3. All right, I'll listen to you, Brother Ling. Chen Qingyin lowered her eyes, covering the coldness in her eyes. It seemed that Mu Ling was not very reliable this time. She must let the old man move back to the eastern courtyard. Mu Ling suddenly thought of what Hai Rong had once said. Qingyin, Grandmaster Hai Rong, said that we should not visit father so often now in order not to provoke him. You may go to visit him when he gets better. Mu Ling felt a headache when he said that. He knew that his father did not like Qingyin, but he did not expect his father to hate her this much. At first, Qingyin had insisted on taking care of his father. However, his father had always disagreed. Qingyin had almost fainted while kneeling outside the door on this matter. He decided to let her make the medicine and gave the only spirit herb to Qingyin due to her filial piety. He had always thought that his father would always accept Qingyin over time. If anyone said this to him, he would have ignored them, but it was from Hai Rong. He had always believed in Hai Rong's words. Chen Qingyin raised her pale face and seemed devastated. Her soft body was shaking and her face was full of sorrow. Does my existence irritate the old master? She said with a bitter smile. I thought that as long as I was good to the old master, he would accept me someday. Mu Ling felt a pain in his heart. He held Chen Qingyin in his arms, tightly. Qingyin, it is not your fault. It was the old man himself who cannot see your kindness. Everyone in the Mu family knows that you treat him well. How can it be your fault? Brother Lin. Chen Qingyin took a bracelet out of her bag and put it in Mu Ling's hands. He smiled bitterly. This is what I found when I went out this time. Let the old master wear it. The level of his strength will be concealed with this. Then, others will not know that the old master's strength is declining. She turned and walked out of the courtyard after she had put the bracelet in Mu Ling's hands. Mu Ling held onto the bracelet tightly. He felt guilty while staring at Qingyian's figure when she left. After all, he had still made Qingyin sad this time. Where is the old master now? My lord, the old master has never come out of the courtyard, the guard responded, respectfully. Me for extra chapters. Mu Ling held the bracelet in his hand, tightly. He no longer spoke, and then turned to walk toward the courtyard. In the Mu family, the courtyard was the only place that was tranquil. Mu Ling could see the old master sitting on the ground, watching the ants move from a distance. He frowned angrily. Father, what are you doing? The old man snorted. Even the ants are so united. Why is my family like a heap of loose sand? Father. Mu Ling was in pain. I don't know why you hate Qingyin so much. Hasn't she done enough for you? You are so stubborn. You wanted to move out of the eastern courtyard. That was fine with me. I have let you do what you wanted. You are my father. I can't do anything to you. However, can't you just be nicer to Qingyin knowing that she's my wife? The old master lifted his head and asked, stiffly, Did you say Qingyin? Isn't she dead yet? Father. Mu Ling's face darkened significantly. He did not understand why the old man could easily accept Suyi, but was so cruel to Qingyin. The past was the past. Why should they keep holding on to those unhappy moments? Hairong said that Qingyin should not often appear in front of you in order not to provoke you. Do you know how sad Qingyin was when she was told that? She has always thought of you and is so filial to you. Can't you just be nicer to her? Chapter 902. Birthday Feast 4. She is a wicked woman. She wanted to kill me. The old master snorted softly. Anyway, I will hit her every time I see her. If you speak up for her again, I will hit you too. Mu Ling's face darkened. This old man was really unreasonable. Qingyin was so kind to him. However, he wronged her by saying that she wanted to poison him. Father, I tolerate you because you are my father. I had even asked Qingyin to be patient with you, but you can't ignore her kindness. I will let you live with second brother for a few days. Please move back to the eastern courtyard after your birthday. Please don't let her down again since she is working so hard to please you. You said that Qingyin wanted to poison you. All right, I won't let Qingyin prepare your medicine next time, lest you misunderstand her again. After that, Mu Ling turned away with a contorted face. He was afraid that he would quarrel with his father if he stayed there. The old master stared in Mu Ling's direction. He was a little aggrieved. Butler, will Sui come back this time? Will she return with my grandson? The butler moved toward the old master and sighed softly.
Yes.
Oh, Mu Ling has bullied me and shouted at me just now. He's a jerk. I'm going to tell Sui and let her have at him. The butler was silent for a while. You can hit him back, old master. No, no. I'm not the kind of person who will hit people. I have a good temper. The butler was speechless. Don't you feel guilty of saying this, old master? Nonetheless, the butler knew that every time Qingyin appeared, the old master would be irritated. He would scold and beat her. If someone stopped him, he would beat that person too. When Qingyin did not show up, the old man would not get sick so easily. Old master, you hate Qingyin so much. Are there any other reasons for hating her? The butler was doubtful about this. In the past, although the old master did not like Qingyin, he did not hate her to such an extent. When did he start to be like this? Me for extra chapters. Apparently, it seemed that he had started to hate her just before Lady Sui left the Mu family. Why? I don't really remember. The old master stared blankly. I have always felt that I have forgotten a lot of things lately. If this goes on, will I forget to eat too? The butler said with sympathetically, Old master, it doesn't matter. I will remember to feed you. Oh, right. Little Qingyin should be attending school, right? Have you registered him for school? Old master, second young master is almost 30 years old now. Is little Qingyin almost 30? Time passes so fast. I remember that he was only this big before. Old Master Mu gestured with his hand as if he was in deep memories. Back then, he was always following Sui around, especially when she was pregnant. Little Qingyin was obviously in poor health, but he was like a little guard protecting her. By the way, where is Sui? Where did she go? The butler sighed. Lady Sui has left the manor. She will be back in a few days. Good, good. I thought Sui was driven away by that bad woman. Luckily, she will return. The old man smiled. The butler became sadder. The old master's memory was worsening. He always forgot that Lady Sui had run away from home. He often thought that the second young master was still a little young boy in his 20s. How could it go on like this? Perhaps Lady Sui and Nancian were the only ones who could comfort the old master now. Chapter 903. Birthday Feast v. Lady Qingyin. At the Mu family's courtyard, a guard came in hurriedly and walked toward Chen Qingyin. A girl named Enchui who wants to meet you. Chen Qingyin narrowed her eyes. Enchui? The manor master's niece? She heard that Enchui had been kicked out of the chief manor. Now, why had she come to the Mu family to see her now? Go and bring her in.
Yes.
The guard heeded the order and backed down. After a few minutes, a beautiful girl came in, led by the guard. Young lady, Chen Qingyin smiled politely. You have come to see me. What's the matter? And Chui seemed very well behaved and walked up next to Chen Qingyan. Everyone at Tianshan Manor knows that Lady Qingyan is the one who is managing everything in the Mu family now. I have come because I wanted to ask for something, Lady Qingyan. Chen Qingyan glanced at An Chui suspiciously. What do you want? Lady Qingyan, I want to be Nanxian's woman. I am willing to be his concubine. And Chui understood that it was impossible for her to become Nanxian's wife due to her identity. She was satisfied as long as she could enter the Mu family. Me for extra chapters. Chen Qingyan slightly a little. Young lady, I'm afraid I can't help you. I'm not Nanxian's biological mother. He will not listen to me. Lady Qingyan, although Nanxian is not your biological son, you are the one taking care of the Mu family's affairs now. And Chui smiled flatteringly. Your power is greater than the young lady of the Mu family, Lady Suyi. Of course, you have the right to decide his marriage. Young Master Nanxian is not that disobedient. Chen Qingyan's eyes darkened. You have to insist that Nanxian has slept with you. You will have to lose your virginity just in case they find out that you were lying. Otherwise, I have no other ways to let you enter the Mu family. Chen Qingyan's method was really cruel. She not only wanted to force Nanxian to marry a woman that he did not like, but she also wanted everyone to know that Nanxian was being played by the woman. It was really miserable, and Chui was startled. What if Nanxian refuses to admit it? Chen Qingyan smiled. It doesn't matter if he does not admit it as long as the world believes it. Brother Ling is always afraid of losing face. He will definitely force Nanxian to accept you. And Chui looked up and saw Chen Qingyan smile. She was a little flustered. However, she understood that it was the only way. If she did not listen to Chen Qingyan would not help her again. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.